All right, so Pokemon TCG Pocket recently released. I've played it for a couple weeks, spent a good amount of money on it, and definitely have some opinions that I figured I would just share in a quick YouTube video. For those of you who are new or haven't watched this channel in a long time, I am Maddie. I have played the Pokemon TCG a lot in my life, and in the last couple of years, I haven't made YouTube videos in quite some time, but I figured I would make a video real quick and sort of share my opinions on Pokemon TCG Pocket and whether I think it is a good game, a game worth playing. What are the problems with it? What are the things that are fun about it? And overall, again, just sort of share my opinions on it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, excuse me, is opening packs. Okay, the main gameplay loop of Pokemon TCG Pocket is opening card packs. I mean, that's sort of the bread and butter of any Pokemon TCG game, but especially Pokemon TCG Pocket. Things are a little bit different in Pocket, where there's one set that it has released with the game that is, I think, called Genetic Apex. The thing that's different about Pokemon TCG Pocket compared to other Pokemon TCG sort of products or games is that there's one set of 226 cards, but there's 3 different packs that you can open. This is somewhat of a good thing, somewhat of a bad thing, I would say. But in those 3 packs, you can kind of target farm which cards that you're trying to open, because each one of those packs contains EX cards or secret rares or special cards that aren't available in the other 2 packs, right? So you can kind of determine which cards you want to try to go for, and then open the pack that has those particular cards contained in it. This is nice for trying to, again, find specific cards to build specific decks. But even if you're not building specific decks, maybe you just sort of want to complete the set in a way that's most conducive to your liking. And I guess suppose this is one way to do it. The thing with the packs, though, is that there's only 5 cards in a pack, and you're not necessarily guaranteed any holographic card or rare card or secret rare card or anything like that to any degree in the packs. So theoretically, you could open 100 packs and literally get nothing good. It's a little bit interesting in that regard. The other thing is that the way that you get packs in the game is primarily by spending money. This is one thing that I have a pretty big gripe about with Pokemon TCG Pocket, is it almost incentivizes you to not play the game after sort of that initial period. And there might be updates, and I know there's events going on right now that do incentivize battling. There's sort of the solo battling campaign missions, which do incentivize, playing that, doing those battles, playing that area of the game. But you'll find out that if you're playing this game often, if you could probably complete all of the missions and all of the content to unlock rewards through things other than opening packs in the first few days. And those first few days is fun. The gameplay of the battling is fun. We'll talk about that a bit later. But in general, the game really just wants you to spend money on it, and it's very self-aware. It's not going to give you too much for participating in the game, for playing the game, for battling, for doing all of the different functionalities that are available in the game. It really wants you to just spend real-life money to open those packs. And I believe the math turns out to somewhere around $1 per pack. I'm sure you get some free packs if you're spending $50 or $100 worth of the in-game currency. But yeah, for the most part, it's $1 for 5 cards with nothing guaranteed. And the pull rates are, I wouldn't say they're terrible, but they don't feel great. For a game that definitely is focused on you spending real money to open these in-game packs, it would be nice to have at least one guaranteed pull. You could probably spend $500 on in-game Pokemon TCG Pocket packs and not get all of the cards that you're looking for, right? That's sort of the territory that we're in, and I think that that's a little bit of a stretch in my opinion. So yeah, opening the packs is fun. You do get a good amount of free packs early in the game by, again, completing all the missions, doing all of sort of the special events, doing all of the solo battles. You'll get enough currencies to where you could probably open a decent amount of packs and maybe build 1 or 2 decks, maybe get a meta deck early on. But you're gonna have to spend money in this game if you're gonna want to build any deck seriously or battle seriously or try to complete the whole set or any sort of version of the set in its entirety. If you're not spending money, you get you get 2 packs a day, I believe, and there's a premium pass, which is something crazy. It's $10 or $20 a month, and you literally get 1 or 2 extra packs every day. So if you're paying for this premium pass, you get, I think, a few extra cosmetics, but for the most part, if you're a premium pass subscriber to Pokemon TCG Pocket, you open 3 or 4 packs free every day, which I guess is fine if you're thinking about this game in a long-term value. But I don't know, people aren't necessarily doing that. It's because it's a gacha game, because there's FOMO and there's millions and millions of people playing this game because it just released. They've made millions of dollars, and that's because people, want to be able to get the cards early. Like, they want to play the game. They don't want to wait, 2 or 3 months of opening packs every day to try to play one particular meta deck, right? It's not something that at least people that are enjoying the battle aspect of the game are probably pretty happy about, and I think that's a significant disconnect. So yeah, that's about all I'll say about the pack openings and sort of the primary gameplay loop of Pokemon TCG Pocket. The other thing is building the decks, right? The battling in this game is simple, it's quick, but it's actually really fun. Like, there's a slight tangible skill gap or skill difference in the game that really does seem like fairly rewarding. It is heavily RNG based, I think anyone would agree, but especially some cards more than others. There's a lot of coin flipping in the game, which of course is all RNG, but yeah, the battle gameplay loop is fun, I think. The only difficulty with it, and the only problems that I have with the battling in the game, well, other than I guess the particular mechanics, I mean, there's some things that I don't like, which we'll get into in a bit, but it's the ability to build decks. Like, if you're going to go on to the online and play like other people in the online sort of play modes, you're going to want to play one of like 4 or 5 decks that are like pretty good. If not, you're going to be losing the majority of the time, and that can be pretty frustrating. And in order to probably build any of those decks, you're going to have to spend money on packs, and that is something that doesn't necessarily feel great. So that's something that is difficult, right? If you're going to want to come in, play the deck that you want to play, or collect several decks that are all meta decks, you're going to have to spend a significant, probably a significant portion of money to build those decks, unless you get lucky, and I'm sure some people did get lucky, but for the most part, right, it's just the way it is. So that is slightly unfortunate. That's no different from any other Pokemon TCG game, I suppose, as well. Like, you're gonna have to spend money to build the decks that you want, but the case is the same for Pokemon TCG Pocket. Now, for someone like me who has spent a lot of money on the game, I don't mind it. Like, this is something that I enjoy, so I'll spend money on it. But I know this is a game that's probably tailored a lot to kids or a younger audience, and they're going to be a little bit upset that they're going to have to dip in their parents' wallet if they're going to want to collect the cards that they want or play the decks that they want. The battle mechanics themselves are actually pretty interesting. I know a lot of people who play this game probably aren't super interested in the battling function. This is sort of the infinite paradox of the Pokemon TCG. The Pokemon trading card game is the most popular trading card game of all time. I mean, the amount of people that buy Pokemon cards, collect Pokemon cards, is astronomical. But the proportion to people that play the actual official Pokemon TCG is extremely small in comparison. And this is one of those things that's always going to be the case with the Pokemon TCG. If you're a competitive Pokemon TCG player and you're watching this video, you understand what I'm talking about, right? Pokemon's one of the most successful IPs of all time, and the competitive scene, I think, is growing, but for the most part, I mean, it's extraordinarily small compared to the amount of people that know Pokemon cards, that open Pokemon cards, and that collect cards. So it's certainly a collector's game most popularly, but people do play the game, and there is a battling functionality within the game, which is actually pretty fun. A lot of key differences. So instead of having prize cards, you have just points, right? So, cards in your deck aren't randomly being chosen and portioned out for you to collect later by knocking out opposing Pokemon. You just have all cards in your deck. The decks are smaller because the games are smaller, right? So there's only 3 points to be won instead of 6 in the official Pokemon TCG. You have 20 cards in your deck instead of 60. You can only have 2 of any card in your deck instead of 4, like the normal Pokemon TCG. You can only have 3 Pokemon in your bench as opposed to 5. And the Pokemon themselves, the cards themselves, are simpler and smaller. They do less damage. It's a much more simplified version of the game, which I think is good, in fact, for most people. If you're not a Pokemon TCG player, or really like a TCG player in general, if you don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or anything like that, this game is going to be much more simple for you to understand. It's going to be a lot easier for you to hop in, have some fun, battle, and just sort of enjoy that gameplay loop. And because the games are quick, because the game is a little bit more simplified, it's actually a little bit more fun, in my opinion, because you can kind of choose to hop in, play a couple games. It'll take you 5-10 minutes, and then you can stop playing, right? So something about that is pretty appealing. But there's a couple core things about the Pokemon TCG Pocket battle mechanics that just literally don't make any sense. And this is coming from somebody that's played the official Pokemon TCG competitively a lot. And I guess I'll just point out those things real quick. So in any card game, you have an advantage whether you go first or second. Typically, that advantage is when you go first, because in the official Pokemon TCG, you can, play. You can play cards. You can't attack on your first turn in the official Pokemon TCG, but you can play cards. You can attach energy. You can do all that stuff, right? So typically, from a resource perspective, you're a turn ahead if you go first. But in Pokemon TCG Pocket, it's different. Energy aren't cards that you put into your deck and then you draw them and then you attach them to your Pokemon. The game gives you like a specific one energy that you can just attach every turn, and you have that energy no matter what. The difference in Pokemon TCG Pocket is it doesn't give you an energy to attach on your first turn. And in a game like Pokemon TCG Pocket, the biggest advantage is your energy, right? So you want to be ahead on energy. That's like the number one thing. There's decks that are focused around this, but going first for the most part feels bad, because while you can attack and you can play supporters, which is different from the official Pokemon TCG, there's no way really to get energy on your Pokemon turn ones, which means that if you want to be ahead on the energy race and the resource race in that regard, you're going to want to go second, which is very interesting because you don't actually have the ability to choose whether you go first or second. It is entirely random. When you open up a game and you start a game in Pokemon TCG Pocket, the game just tells you whether you're going first or second or not. It's entirely random. There's no coin flip, and even if you did win the coin flip, you wouldn't be able to choose, right? Well, there is a coin flip, but you can't choose, is what I'm saying, right? It just determines that for you. There are some decks that do like going first more than other decks, and of course that is, just a part of the strategy, right? If you're playing a water type deck and you're running Misty, you can play Misty on your first turn going first. This is a pretty popular, mechanic in the games that people are a little bit mad about or confused about, is that you can go first, play Misty, the supporter card, on your first turn, attach 3 energies to your Articuno, which is a basic Articuno EX, which is a basic Pokemon and can attack for 3 energies and do 80 damage. You can do that all on your first turn, and there's no rule that you can't attack on your first turn. You just can't attach energies on your first turn. So you can play supporters, you can attack. If you high roll, if you get lucky, then yeah, you can win the game on your first turn and your opponent never has a chance to play. So decks like that do enjoy going first. I think they do have a particular advantage going first, but most decks want to go second because then you're ahead on the energy race, on the resource race, and that most of the time is going to result in you winning games. So the battle mechanics are pretty interesting. The card balance is fine, I think, for the most part. I think Misty's a little bit silly. I think it should be changed. But all in all, that's probably what I would say is the most interesting aspect of Pokemon TCG Pocket is how different sort of the how dramatic of an experience it is when you're going first as opposed to going second. So I don't know. I mean, we're picking at straws here. Again, this isn't a game that's meant to be competitively focused. This is a game that's really just meant to have a battle feature to sort of give you a reason to play with the cards that you're opening, but not necessarily a focus of the game. And I think some people are going to feel that maybe more so later on in the game's life cycle than now. But it does seem to me that they're perhaps not particularly focused on the battle mechanics as much as the other aspects of the game. Speaking of battling, is the lack of rewards that you get from battling. I know it's not the core gameplay loop of Pokemon TCG Pocket, but you literally, other than this one special event that recently came out where you do get special sort of emblems, and there are some missions to unlock some rewards, to do some more wonder trades, to open some more packs, you don't actually get anything for battling, like just in the sense, like there's no ranked ladder, so there's no real reward structure. You get like a small bit of experience, but it's not a real reward. Like you could win 100 battles, and I don't even think that would really be enough to level up if you're a higher level in the game. So it's weird. Battling is fun. There is this sort of special event that just came out. You do get rewards for those solo battles, but in terms of like playing online against other people, there's really no incentive to do it other than to win those, or at least at the moment, win those 45 battles for this special event. That's literally it. And once you're done with that, there really isn't any reason to battle other than just sort of to have fun or test out new decks, which is fine. But I think if you're gonna put battling into the game, you need to incentivize a reason for people to battle. You don't want to make it mandatory, but you want to give people something for playing the game. If you're not incentivizing people for playing the game, then like why are they going to play the game, right? And right now it does feel like the only incentive that the game has is for you to spend money, right? Like it's telling you to spend money on cards, open packs, get rewards for collecting cards, for opening packs, and then if you open packs, you collect those cards, you can build the decks and then play the game. So The game in that sense is certainly a bit of a cash grab. It could change. These events that have come out are definitely an upside of the game. I think they're definitely good. And if the game is updated regularly, and maybe a rank ladder comes in the future, or more battling rewards comes in the future, I think that'll be good. But for the most part, don't download this game and think that it's a version of the official Pokemon TCG. Don't really compare it to Pokemon TCG Live or anything like that, or even like Duel Links. Like, it's just not a game that is primarily focused on you playing the battling functionality. It's just sort of an option that's there for you. I definitely believe that. I think there's going to be a competitive community around the game, and I think that's great. But the game itself isn't necessarily made for you to spend all day battling and perfecting your strategies, perfecting your deck, grinding any sort of a rank ladder. So just sort of keep that in mind. I do think that the game will be a lot better in a lot of these ways from a cash grab sort of gacha perspective once the trading functionality is out. Currently, the game doesn't have any way to trade cards. There is actually like a section in the menu that shows the trading sort of option or the trading functionality within the game, but it's not available yet. Nobody knows what the trading is going to look like, but if there is a proper, like, really good trading system within Pokemon TCG Pocket, I think the game will be a lot better. There needs to be a way for you to fill the gaps, right? Like, in a scenario where you pay $100 and you unlock 90% of the cards, you're going to have to spend another $500 to get those last 10% of the cards. And that just doesn't really feel really good. A good trading system would be great because, if you're opening the packs and you're getting rare cards, but those cards aren't necessarily cards that you need to build the decks that you want to build, you need to be able to trade those rare cards that you have for, to somebody that wants those cards in exchange for cards that you want, maybe to build a particular deck, right? There's no option to select particular cards that you want. There is a currency. If you're opening enough packs, then you can spend this currency to choose particular cards that you want, but it is absolutely out of reach. I think you need to open 100 packs. I believe it is. Like, literally, you need to open 100 packs to just craft one basic EX Pokemon card. Like, not even like a secret rare or a special rare or a full art card. Like, literally just one basic EX Pokemon. So you'd have to open 200 packs for you to get 2 EX cards. So a playset of a particular EX card. And that's if you don't open them in the packs, of course. So that system is somewhat nice. At least you have that option, but it's not very viable when it comes to, getting particular cards that you need. So yeah, let's see. When the trading comes out, I think maybe the game will be a lot better. I'm interested to see just how far the trading functionality goes, or if it's going to be really useful in any degree. We'll see for sure. But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting game. I've had a lot of fun with it. The wonder picking I haven't even talked about, but wonder picking is just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. If people don't really understand, you get a completely RNG set of packs that you can wonder pick. And when you wonder pick, you have basically a 1 in 5 chance, so a 20% chance to get any one particular card in that pack that you want to get. And that wonder picking is locked behind a particular currency, which is time gated, just like opening packs. So I think once every 48 hours, you're probably going to get a 1 in 5 chance to find basically one random, extra super rare card. Basically, is how it works. So it's fun. I like how it's there, but it's not implemented in a way that's serious to any degree. Like especially if you're just opening packs. Like, if you open enough packs, or if you spend money on this game, like, there's really no reason to wonder trade. You may see a card that you need in a wonder trade, but the chances that you have the currency or you have sort of the unlock ability to do the wonder trade is pretty low. And even if you do the wonder trade, you have a 1 in 5 chance. So the odds are just infinitely small for wonder trading. It's fun. It's a fun concept, but it's implemented in a way that's really almost never worth doing, other than players who are just generally new to the game, or players who, I guess, don't ever spend any money on the game. Maybe that's what it's for, but I'm not, particularly sure what the wonder trade or the wonder picking is all about in Pokemon TCG Pocket. It's certainly very strange. But maybe they'll update all this stuff and it'll be a lot better. But all in all, that's my experience with Pokemon TCG Pocket. I think the game is really fun. It definitely incentivizes you to spend a lot of money. If you do spend money on the game, you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of options. You can build a lot of decks. You can collect a lot of cards. You can complete all the missions. If you're not spending any money on the game, then it's sort of just something that you tune into for a few minutes every day. You open your packs and you see if you get anything fun, you know. And I think that's fine. I do. I don't think the game is trying to be anything that it's not. It's certainly a gacha game, but it's one that I do enjoy, and I think a lot of people who are just very dedicated to the Pokemon brand or to the Pokemon TCG, they're going to be spending money on it. They're going to have some fun with it. It is what it is, and we'll see sort of what comes out in future updates. I'm certainly interested to see how things unfold for Pokemon TCG Pocket. But yeah, that's my opinions. I talked for about 20 minutes on this, so I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. Comment below what your opinions on Pokemon TCG Pocket are. Do you agree with any of the things that I said? Do you disagree? Do you like the game? Have you spent any money on the game? Are you enjoying it? What would you like to see added to the game or changed about the game here in the upcoming weeks or upcoming updates? I'm definitely interested to see. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. I've been Maddie. Again, I haven't made a YouTube video in quite some time, so if you're watching this and you want to subscribe, please do. And stay tuned, because I do plan to make future videos. I think I'm going to get back into it. I'm not sure exactly what the type of videos I'm going to be making are. Maybe just discussion videos, maybe just topics, news, things like that. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Maddie from... I guess I changed my name. I'm not Chill TCG anymore. I'm just Maddie T. So, yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.